What's going on, Sam?
What's going on, Connor? Nothing much going on over here. Just ready for another great episode of Definitely the Experts. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Doing great. Yeah, I thought that today we can launch right into a revisit of our who's on the hot seats for coaches in the NFL, because just last week, or I guess this past Monday, it feels like forever ago, Jay Gruden was fired by the Washington Redskins following their loss to the New England Patriots. I don't know. It kind of feels like old news by now, but I mean, I don't really know what else to. No, not really. I think everything in the media has already summed it up pretty good. Everybody's caught on to the fact that the ownership in Washington is just so bad that firing Jay Gruden was, I mean, more of a formality than anything. It wasn't really like his coaching was necessarily the worst thing happening there. I think the general manager and owner situation is really the root source of the problem in there.
Right, it's starting from the top. That said, though, the culture is not the problem. So says Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
You hear that? You hear that quote?
Yeah, I did.
We got a damn good culture.
Great. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Pimping out the cheerleaders is what we call culture.
You're going to have to explain that one.
You didn't hear about that story?
No, what are you talking about?
It was, I don't remember if it was, I think it was 2 years ago, a big old story came out where the Redskins entertainment staff, they were pimping out their cheerleaders to people who were bankrolling the organization.
That's right.
Yeah,
I do recall this now.
Like the most literal form of prostitution.
Actual prostitution.
Yep, just straight up, you're literally just using these women for, prostitution. But I was gonna think of a better analogy. I was watching Mad Men with Eric yesterday, and this literal thing happened where they were trying to, this marketing agency. I don't know if you watch Mad Men at all.
I have not.
All right. I really don't either. I just watch it when Eric's in the room. But they had this, they wanted to get this car company, Jaguar, to sign with this advertising agency. And it was a big deal because Jaguar was it was a big deal back in the 60s or whatever. And so the whatever, I don't know what his fucking title was, CEO or whoever was deciding on advertising agencies. He saw this receptionist at the advertising agency, and he came to the business meeting. He was like, "Hey, I saw that girl that was checking me in, and it's like, I'd really like to spend a night with her." And he was like, they were like, "Oh, well, I'm pretty sure she's married." And he's like, "Doesn't matter to me." And it was like, wow, this guy just literally straight up asked, if you want me to agree with your proposal, I'll need to, see this woman for a night. And it was like, wow, this is fucking insane. And so anyway, it made me think of the Washington Redskins doing that. They literally did that.
Huh.
Yeah, so.
Well, hey, at least we know our team, the Packers, aren't doing that. I hope. I hope they're not pimping out the high schoolers.
They're in college.
Oh, that's right, they're in college. But still
not great. Not a great look.
Still inappropriate.
Yeah, me too.
They're sure as hell not pimping out the Tundra line.
Nope.
Can confirm.
Yep, I can confirm that as well. But
I can confirm for me.
So anyway, moving on from that, back on topic. Yeah, Jay Gruden's out, and a bunch of stuff came out in the sort of in the lead up and in the wake of his firing, where saying things like he didn't want to take Dwayne Haskins, and that was something where Dan Snyder, the owner, kind of stepped in and unilaterally made that decision to take Dwayne Haskins. Things like that came up, and I mean, I don't know.
Well, that sounds completely dysfunctional. Which, whatever. I guess Jay Gruden, whatever. Good, good for you. He's the lucky one, is able to get out of that little mess and just be done with it.
Right. I mean, he at his last press conference, he seemed like he was like 1,000% done with it. Like, I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, he answered a question.
Yeah, I had the great quote. We'll see if the key still works on Monday.
Yeah.
And didn't. It didn't.
Well, it worked at 5 a.m. when they called him in for a fucking meeting. Like, I thought that was the most ridiculous part, was like, all right, Jay, can you come in at 5? Like, well, oh, okay. Yeah, get it over with.
Come in at 5? That's probably what it was, but like, it wasn't just, hey, Jay, you're a football coach and you're here at 5 anyway. Since you're already here, come on up to the office and we'll get this taken care of. Get your ass out of here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But so Bill Callahan takes over now. So as history has shown us before, the Bill Callahan will take the Redskins to the Super Bowl, and they will lose to Jay Gruden next year, whichever team he ends up coaching.
Perfect, just as history wrote.
Just as what happened with older brother John Gruden.
Perfect.
Life is a circle.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if Jay Gruden joined John Gruden's staff?
I thought I heard some of that. That's like basically a done deal. He's going to Vegas next year and going to be the OC for John Gruden.
It wouldn't be like the craziest thing in the world.
I don't know. Have they coached together before?
I don't think so.
It's one of those things where you look at, Kyle Shanahan worked for his dad, Mike Shanahan, when they were in Washington. When Mike Shanahan was head coach of the Redskins for a minute, 2-3, but let's see here, Jay Gruden. I have no idea where Jay Gruden, where did you come from? Where did you go?
I just felt like he's been at the Washington Redskins organization for a number of years. 8 seasons?
Really? That seems like a lot. But he was, okay, this sounds familiar. He was the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals for a couple of years. 2011, 2013, 5 years as head coach of the Redskins before being fired here. And before that, oh yeah, he did work with John Gruden when he was in Tampa. Jay was an offensive assistant from 2002 to 2008 in Tampa Bay.
Okay.
6 years as a coach, so there's precedent for him working with his older brother. And then, okay, this gets interesting here because he was head coach after John got fired in 2008. Jay ended up being head coach of the Orlando Predators. I don't know what that is. And then he was offensive coordinator for the Florida Tuskers. I do know what that is. They're from the UFL.
Nice.
Remember the UFL at all?
Yeah, the World
United Football League. Yeah, the last couple seasons. So good for you, Jay. Thank you for your service, Jay. He's fired. So, who's next?
Dan Quinn, I think, is the next on the chopping block. Yeah, it's pretty inexcusable that a defensive-minded coach has let his defense falter as much as the Atlanta Falcons have, especially with their personnel that they have. They don't have bad personnel. It sort of sucks that they lost people like Keanu Neal again to like a season injury or a career, not a career, but a season-ending injury is what I'm trying to say. But they still have plenty of dudes back there that are capable players, or they at least they were a couple of seasons ago. People like Ricardo Allen and not Robert Alford. What's his name?
Vic Beasley.
Vic Beasley is another one who was like that one season anomaly when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, was really good that season, and then since then he's just kind of been meh. Desmond Trufant, that's his name. he was really good his first couple of seasons in the NFL, and now he's terrible. So
I think we've talked about this before. Robert Alford's a name that's like, man, I always just thought he was like really, really good because he had the pick six in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, oh man, he must be really good. Yeah, he's making plays out here, and he's just not good. But he's got instant name recognition, which goes a long way for me because I don't watch a lot of Falcons football. But
yeah, me either. But I watch enough to just be disappointed by what's going on there. Yeah, I mean, it sucks because they've got their offensive capabilities. They're still firing on all cylinders, I think, in the offense. Like, they still have a very high-powered offense, and it's tough to not have one when you have Matt Ryan and Julio Jones leading the charge there. There's a little bit to be desired in the running game, I think. Like, Devonta Freeman hasn't quite blown up in any sort of way in the wake of Tevin Coleman leaving the backfield, but nonetheless, their receiving core remains one of the stronger cores in the NFL, I think, with Calvin Ridley and Mohamed Sanu sort of rounding out the core there. Austin Hooper playing a pretty decent season so far. I mean, he came off of a Pro Bowl last year. There's pieces there. It's just defense is an extreme liability to their team to the point of where they've won one game.
Yeah, they beat Philly, which seems like really odd that they were able to beat the Eagles.
Yeah, well, Philly's defense is just decimated as well, so, I mean, just throw all over them, I guess.
Yeah, and they were short-handed in that Sunday night game. They had a bunch of receivers injured, if I remember right, but yeah, I think so. They have a lot of the players on that offense that are still around from the Super Bowl. Most notably, just missing Tevin Coleman. But the most important piece that's left is offensive coordinator, now 49ers head coach, Kyle Shanahan. And that offense has been, relatively speaking, broken because they're a record-setting offense that year. They made it to the Super Bowl, and they've been a shell of themselves in terms of production ever since. With Steve Sarkisian and now, gosh, who's their offensive coordinator, former Buccaneers coach?
What?
Who was the Buccaneers head coach the last couple of years? Is the OC for
Dirk Cutter?
Atlanta right now? Dirk Cutter, yes. So you can't overstate how big of a role Kyle Shanahan in that offense. Like you're saying, like the running game suffering. And watching that game on Monday night where they just ran roughshod all over the Browns defense. It's impressive the way that Kyle Shanahan offense runs.
Yeah.
So there was a good tweet I saw. So like you said, Dan Quinn, was the defensive coordinator and has a defensive background. There's an interesting tweet that I saw where it was, there's the trend in the NFL now is to hire, the young offensive mind, the Sean McVay, the meme from last year. Anybody that's, worked with Sean McVay or had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay, got a head coaching job. And it's interesting. There's Warren Sharp, who's a really, really interesting football guy and kind of really looks at things in a different way. When you have a defensive-minded head coach, I mean, you're really strapped in terms of what he can do offensively. Because if you can hire, some of those guys from the McVay tree or from the Kyle Shanahan tree, but those guys aren't lasting because of the offensive core, the offensive-minded head coach arms race. You want to look at it that way. I mean, those guys that you hire, like Matt LaFleur, lasted one season in Tennessee before being hired as a head coach. So you're never gonna have continuity if you have a great offensive coordinator, young up and coming offensive coordinator, because they're just getting hired away for a head coach, or you have an old crusty offensive coordinator, just a shitty offensive coordinator. So no matter what you do, the defensive-minded head coach, I mean, you're going to be at somewhat of a disadvantage offensively just from who you're able to hire or hang on to. So that's okay. That's not necessarily that's not the end of the world. But as soon as your defense goes to shit on top of it, then you're a dead man walking. So pretty much the opposite of the situation you look at in Buffalo. Buffalo's offense, not great by any stretch, but their defense is really good with Sean McDermott, defensive-minded head coach. Yeah, Dan Quinn, I think his days are numbered.
Yep. I mean, yeah. It's all pretty good insight on that, and it's a pretty good way of looking at it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of just the way the league is moving, and I mean, watching the teams that are having success, obviously, with the offensive-minded approach, the Andy Reid tree. I mean, it's pretty clear how, like, what they're able to do. Like it's tough to stop it. Like, there aren't very many teams that have found the formula to stopping people like, Pat Mahomes and I mean, even like the Houston Texans are rolling on a high-powered offense right now.
Yeah, absolutely they are, and that's Andy Reid. That's a good one because his last two offensive coordinators have both been head coaches, Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy, and I thought for sure Eric Bieniemy was going to be hired as head coach last year, but I would assume that's coming this year, this next offseason. He's going to get a head coaching job. I know nothing else about him other than he's the Chiefs OC. That position has been coveted as a has been a breeding ground for head coach candidates for a little bit here.
Yep.
So another name we were talking about a little bit a couple weeks ago. I think this is after the Cam Newton's last start against the Buccaneers. Ron Rivera might be on the hot seat, but I don't know if he's on the hot. Is he still on the hot seat after Kyle Allen's rattled off 3-4 straight wins here?
I mean, that's the thing. The Panthers' defense has been pretty stalwart so far this year. Like, they are a pass defense to be reckoned with for sure. Like, they've allowed, I think, only like 900 some yards over the course of 6 weeks now, which is pretty good. I mean, considering who they've played against, the Bucs once already. They play them again this week. I can't remember the whole list of all the other people they've played. Let me look at the game log here. Yeah, they played against the Rams, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Houston, and Jacksonville. So a couple of people in there who have some pretty high-powered offenses, namely L.A., Tampa Bay, and Houston. And I mean, to only allow, I think it's pretty surprising, especially with Los Angeles and Houston, that they were able to limit DeAndre Hopkins and then that trio of excellent wide receivers in LA, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, and Robert Woods. I mean, they're doing some pretty good stuff. I mean, I think that, yeah, you're right. We're seeing a pretty decent bounce back year for Carolina. When I thought for sure Ron Rivera, I think we both said it, Ron Rivera was probably up there with, I think we put him ahead of Dan Quinn for sure when we first talked about this, and maybe even ahead of Jay Gruden. He might have been the number one guy.
Things have changed here in the last few weeks, and Dan Quinn is for sure gone. I'm not saying Ron Rivera is safe here, but he's looking better. Boy, looking at this other list, like, I don't know, some of these other teams, like the other winless teams, you got the Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, and everybody else has a win other than the Redskins, but they already fired the coach. So, I mean, of those teams, I mean, the Bengals, I don't think you probably give up on Zach Taylor. Dolphins, I don't know. I just don't see them. They're actively tanking so hard that you think that's all that they're doing that purposefully. The Jets, I don't think they're doing this on purpose.
Oh man,
I think Adam Gase might be in trouble.
Adam Gase just, oh my god. What I don't even know what to think about Adam Gase.
To be fair, Sam Darnold's coming back after missing a bunch of games here with mono, but
the problem I had with him was he fucking I think it was last week. Or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Who did the Jets play last week?
Jets played the New York Giants. No. Eagles.
All right, maybe it was the Eagles. Did they play the Patriots the week before that?
Yes.
All right, it's definitely the Patriots. I think it was before the Patriots game. They were giving Sam Darnold first-team reps all week.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, gave him first-team reps all week and then ruled him out on, like, the day before the game, Saturday, I guess, or Friday, maybe. Maybe it was Friday. And they were like, oh, no, he's going to be out. And didn't give
Luke Falk.
Yeah, didn't give Luke Falk any first-team reps up until that point. And so it was like, what are we doing? Like, why? Like, I don't know. Like, you'd think, like, even if you were trying to get Sam Darnold back in the mix of things, that, you'd be a little bit more conservative considering who the personnel is here. Like Luke Falk, I don't know, probably needs some reps. Probably can't go into game against the Patriots cold.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. But the Jets, the Jets' schedule here coming up the next couple of weeks doesn't do them any favors either. They get the Cowboys this week. Then the Patriots again, so yikes. And then the Jaguars, who are sneaky, okay. And then circle this game, first weekend in November in Miami against the Dolphins. Both teams could very easily be winless.
God.
Although the Dolphins have a nice chance this week to get in the win column playing the Redskins. So between those three teams, they're all going to play each other. You get a real nice concoction of
Man. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see. Do we have on our outline? We have trade destinations coming up. Let's talk about that right now. I think we're done talking about coaches getting fired because I think that Adam Gase and Dan Quinn are the guys that may or may not get fired here. I think you're right. Zach Taylor's, he's too new. Cliff Kingsbury, I think he's starting to turn things around in Arizona. Wouldn't get fired anyway.
Nope.
I don't think that Brian Flores is going anywhere.
Nope. Those are the obvious ones on the really, really shitty teams, but there's some like those middle tier teams. Gosh, I don't know if the Chargers shit the bed here. I don't know. Maybe Anthony Lynn. Maybe. Jacksonville and Tennessee. I don't think so, but maybe.
I mean, I think Jacksonville was a possible destination for a coach shakeup, but Gardner Minshew is just the meme dream happening there in Jacksonville, and as long as he keeps fucking winning, I mean, coach's job is safe as, it's safe. I don't know. I don't know what I want to use there for a simile, but he's good to go, and I'm sure the coach is just going all in on Minshew mania in order to secure his fucking job.
Yeah, but apparently, I'm here. The only other two I'm looking at would be the Giants, maybe. I don't love Pat. I don't really like what Pat Shurmur's doing. Just don't have a good concrete reason. Just I don't know. I look at him, I look like he's got coordinator. He's got coordinator written all over him. Put it that way. I don't trust him. He kind of like Ben McAdoo. I don't really trust him.
I don't know.
That's just a gut feel. I guess you give him the benefit of the doubt with the rookie quarterback, but I don't know.
I don't know. I want to say that they have like a kind of rebuild going on, but I really don't know. Like, I don't know what it really, like, it doesn't really look like it. Like, it just looks like they have a really shitty team. They don't really have like a lot of assets waiting for them. Like, I don't know.
The Dolphins, you can see, they're trading a bunch of dudes away. They're getting a bunch of picks. I can see they're doing something.
Yeah,
the Giants are just kind of existing.
Yeah,
and being bad.
right. And who do you? I guess even in like when we're gonna talk about trade destinations here, people like the Bengals have people that they can trade.
Yeah.
Like they don't even have people to fucking trade, man. Who do you trade there? You just traded for Golden Tate. He's probably your best receiver on there. He's also like 33.
You have Saquon, who's untouchable.
Yeah, he's the fucking face of the franchise.
You got Daniel Jones, who's, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe.
Traded 4 people like Jabril Peppers. Like, I don't even know who's this. Janoris Jenkins? No, he's pretty fucking...
Old.
Yeah, he's...
Eli Apple.
Eli...
Not on the team.
He's not on the team.
Yeah. Who else do they have in their secondary? Anybody?
DeAndre Baker's a rookie.
Okay.
He's bad.
Offensive line is garbage.
Yeah.
They're bad.
Let me just pull up a fucking depth chart here real quick. Who's on the fucking Giants? I just watched their game yesterday. I guess Will Hernandez is good, but he was a second-round pick in the 2018 draft.
The guard, Will Hernandez?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched like one play. I just remember him getting steamrolled.
Oh, they traded for Kevin Zeitler. That's right. I kept hearing his name.
Oh, okay. All right. Evan Ingram. Okay.
Yeah, he's a good tight end, but I don't know.
Solder way overpaid for him.
Yep.
Dexter Lawrence.
So that's right. They did try to beef up their O-line this year, but here we are.
This whole secondary.
Antoine Bethea.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, they're very old in the secondary. Between him and Janoris Jenkins. Well, really just those two.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so let's move on into trade destinations here. So I guess first guy, Jalen Ramsey requested a trade. And he's, been sitting on that for a couple of weeks here. Jags organization doesn't look like they want to trade him at all. And why would you? Because he's a perennial talent at cornerback. And between him and A.J. Boye, they're, a formidable secondary to have to stare down. But, yeah, there's people that want him, and there's a lot of people that are saying that KC might be the team that pulls the trigger on him if there's ever going to be one. The Jags, I think, were asking for 2 first-round picks. Somebody offered him that. I don't remember who, and they turned it down.
Yeah, I don't know.
Might have been KC. But anyway, I think it might have been KC because people were saying that it was like, well, they're both going to be late round picks, late first round, so basically second round. So yeah. So I don't know. It would, I guess, make sense because Kansas City needs a beefier secondary, but also it's a lot of assets for a guy. I don't know. You can't really put it past any team, I guess, that's sort of in a win now mode to throw a lot of money at a guy. But I don't know. You got to deal with the fact that he's going to need a new contract very, very soon. He's probably going to demand a pretty big one at that, considering he's one of the best, if not the best, in the game right now. So, I don't know. Kansas City would make sense because they're certainly in a win-now mode with everything going on there. They have a quarterback on a rookie deal. They have the formula right now, the tried-and-true rookie quarterback formula.
Has that worked yet?
Did
Super Bowl champ? Super Bowl. Well, I guess the Eagles did it, but that's not really. Kind of, because Carson Wentz didn't play.
The formula was there, but the rookie quarterback didn't play in the Super Bowl.
So does that count?
I mean, it's got to count,
Think
right?
so.
Because they still were able to get, other...
Yeah, you have all that cap room to bolster the rest of the roster. You have your hitmen. They were able to get short-term deals for guys like LeGarrette Blount and Chris Long, others.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. I don't know.
I mean, the Rams were rolling with it last year up until the Super Bowl.
Right. They didn't win, though.
No.
Did everything but win. Eagles, Patriots.
What about Seattle?
Oh, yes. Seattle did it. That was correct. The Ravens, the Giants, no. Packers, definitely no. Saints, definitely no. Steelers, no. Okay, so, since going back like 15 years, no. It happened twice. With the Seahawks doing it, one with Russell Wilson, and the Eagles doing it with an injured Carson Wentz.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So it's possible, but it's not a bad strategy, but it's only worked twice. Kind of.
Yeah.
1.5 times.
Right. I mean, there's obviously no, like, one strict formula for winning the fucking Super Bowl, obviously. The Patriots have just managed to create a mega dynasty here with whatever black magic it is that they're using. I guess their quarterback they're kind of doing it in a weird sort of way. Not really on a rookie deal, but he's on, like, a,
below market value.
Yeah. But that's kind of an unusual circumstance because it's Tom Brady, and I mean, he's still pretty good at what he does, but he's also married to a supermodel who makes more money than he does. So he doesn't really have to necessarily worry about where his value is in terms of cap space or room. He'd rather just win Super Bowls.
Also, it's not like he also has his endorsement deals, so he's doing okay.
Yeah, so it kind of just makes sense, even from like a practical sense, for him to take a little bit less money. But they've also, I mean, they just make something out of nothing there consistently year after year. They just have players who, it's like, oh yeah, we've got the number one defense, and I look at all the players yesterday, it's like, who fuck's that guy? Like, who the fuck is that?
That's what I was doing with the receivers. Like, who's this? Who's this? Not Danny Amendola?
Jacoby Meyer.
The other guy, the white guy.
Oshevsky.
Yeah, who the hell is that?
He's an undrafted free agent white guy.
Yeah, you got Julian Edelman and then a bunch of nobodies. This Ryan Izzo character playing tight end.
Jacoby Meyer.
Yeah, that guy. Never heard of him.
And Gunnar Oshevsky.
Yeah, somehow they went from having nobody playing receiver to being completely stacked at receiver. Now back to having nobody in a couple weeks, in a month.
Yeah. Which, okay, brings me back to what the fuck we're talking about here. Trade destinations for top candidates. There's a lot of, like, Stephon Diggs is another guy, and there's a lot of talk been going around of him being kind of upset with his role in the Vikings offense, partially due to the fact that Kirk Cousins has taken a major step back and regressed a little bit towards the mean.
Quite a bit.
And he's not getting quite the volume that he'd like to see because Kirk doesn't throw the ball a lot, or when he does, he's pretty bad at it. And if he does throw the ball, it usually goes to Adam Thielen. So being the absolute, like, definite number 2 in that offense, and the fact that the market share doesn't trickle down a whole lot to him anymore, he seems to be pretty upset because he is pretty good at wide receiver. So he's been not coming out and saying that he wants to be traded, but doing pretty much everything but say that. They won a game last week, so it quelled a little bit of the talk, but I think he's still a guy that could be on the chopping block, or not the chopping block, but the trade block. And a lot of people have him mocked to the New England Patriots because they obviously wanted to install a receiver like him in Antonio Brown. into their offense, but that whole thing happened and now they don't have him. So it would make sense if the Patriots made a run at Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that'd be just what they need.
Yeah, the last piece of the puzzle.
I know you said you wanted the Packers to make a run at him. I don't see it happening.
I have another guy who I think I'm much more in on now.
Oh, do ya?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk of Emmanuel Sanders going to the Packers.
Really?
Yeah, and I am all in on it.
What's the going rate on one Emmanuel Sanders?
Well, I mean, it all depends, I think, on his performance over the next couple of weeks. He's been a little up and down to start this season, and it's pretty clear the target share that Cortland Sutton's the number one in that Denver offense, and he's Joe Flacco's favorite. Being 31, coming off an Achilles injury last year, not sure what the asking price is there, but the Packers certainly have enough money to bring him in on a multi-year deal. I think they have, oh boy, I don't even want to try to spit out cap space numbers, but I think they have enough to bring him in at least for the remainder of the season on, I think they have like $9 million in cap space for this year. So that being said, I guess the reason why I'm all in on it is because the Denver Broncos, for one, are absolutely going to get rid of some assets on their team. Having won one game yet, in this season, and it was last week, it's pretty clear that they're going to have to enter the tank here if they want to right the ship, because things are just not looking great with everything going on there in Denver. Joe Flacco, I don't think, is the answer there. I think everybody kind of knows that. They drafted a quarterback this year. I think that they're going to start cutting some, I don't want to use the term dead weight, but they need to trade their assets that they can get things for. So Emmanuel Sanders is definitely, if not the top consideration coming off of that team. And the Packers are definitely a team that I wouldn't say they absolutely need a new number 2 receiver, but it's pretty clear that cutting Randall Cobb might have been, it's impossible to say because it's all retrospect talk now, but I think having Randall Cobb on this team would have done wonders for this new offense that Matt LaFleur is installing. Having a guy with veteran presence in the receiving core for the Packers and some already well-established chemistry with Aaron Rodgers, they're doing just fine without Devontae. I wouldn't say that. They did fine last week against the Cowboys, but it certainly shows that everybody out there, when it's just the rookies, that the offense takes a little bit of a step back. And it's nice that we have somebody like Aaron Jones who was able to run all over the Dallas Cowboys, but it would be nice to have a true number 2 there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to disagree with any of that. Really, the Packers' offense was effective last week, but in spite of who was playing receiver, thanks in large part to the career game for Aaron Jones. But I don't know. I'm down for it. Just send him over.
Yeah,
send it.
It'd be nice if. Looking at the receiving core, like I said, it would have been impossible to say with all the dudes that we had that it was the right move, I think, at the time to let Randall Cobb walk, because we had so much young talent on the team, and expecting one of those guys to blossom into a number 2, namely, Geronimo Allison or Marquez Valdez-Scantling, wasn't out of the question. Certainly MVS was coming up, especially late into the 2018 season. But so far, I don't know. It's kind of, he has flashes of greatness and there's a lot of playmaking ability, but it would be nice if we had a shorter, shiftier guy to play out of the slot, and I don't think that Darius Shepard is quite there yet. He's been really good, especially considering his undrafted status, but be nice to have somebody like a Randall Cobb or Emmanuel Sanders guy working out of there.
Wes Welker.
Yes.
Somebody like that. Well, yeah. So, okay, we have two things we need for the draft next year. We need a slot receiver and slot receiver and inside linebacker.
Yes.
A couple of those.
Well, we don't need a slot receiver if we just get Emmanuel Sanders.
Well, let's get another one.
All right, get another one. Other people on the trading block here, Trent Williams from the Washington Redskins is holding out. A lot of people have him going, what's the team? The Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, they need offensive line help.
Yeah, their offensive line is not looking great. Hell of a game on Sunday night. Just everybody in prime time watched them pretty much poop their pants.
Just get fucking run over by Niners.
Yeah.
Niner noise.
That's right. So, I don't know. Offensive line trades are not necessarily the sexiest of trades, but they certainly affect how you play the fucking game when Baker Mayfield is getting run over every other play. That was something that I was thinking about this at, I think I was thinking about it during the Kent State game that we were watching. Watching Zach Bond just like wreck Kent State's quarterback every now and then, and it's like, man, you know, seeing this up close and in person really brings to life when people talk about quarterbacks getting skittish in the pocket from dudes hitting them. And so I was watching that Cleveland Browns game, and I had that in mind, and it was like, oh my goodness, these guys that are coming off the edge or just breaking through the offensive line maybe is even more terrifying, like watching a guy run straight at you and just fucking level you.
And nothing you can do about it.
Nope, you just have to pretty much stand there and take it. Like, man, yeah, I don't know. I'd probably, I don't know. I like probably wouldn't be focused on the game at all. Like, oh my God, like this guy's gonna definitely like break one of my bones one of these times.
Yeah, it's like watching shit like that something makes you appreciate having two bookend tackles that are as good as David Bakhtiari and Brian Bulaga are. Yeah.
I mean, both of them have been playing like pretty excellent this year. Brian Bulaga especially. Makes me thankful that our offensive line is something that the Packers, when we talked about last year that they were a little bit of a liability, but normally the Packers have been pretty good about investing in offensive line help to make the quarterback position a little bit more secure, which is nice.
Yeah, apparently all the breakdowns from this past weekend's game, Elgton Jenkins gets his first start at left guard, and apparently did a pretty bang-up job out there.
Yeah. Which,
so that's good.
Yeah. Gives me hope that, I mean, could bring back the glory days of having that A-plus offensive line out there of, what was it, J.C. Treader, Josh Sitton, Brian Bulaga.
T.J. Lang.
Yeah, T.J. Lang, Dave Bakhtiari, all these fucking dudes that were just boss at offensive line.
I thought you were going to go back further. You know, like that boss offensive line when you had Chad Clifton, Mark Tauscher, and Marco Rivero, and Mike Wall.
I mean, you could. I mean, those are all guys that...
Fuzzy Thurston.
Yeah.
Jim Kramer.
A rich Packers history in offensive line.
7 blocks of granite and all that shit.
Who was that offensive lineman that the Packers took who was just a total bust?
Oh, back in like the 80s or 90s?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't remember.
Because they took him like first overall over, obviously somebody important.
Yeah, they took, wasn't he like, he was like the big steroid guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
List the Packers' first round draft picks. Let's see here. Sterling Sharp. No. Oh, Tony Mandarich in 1989.
That's the one.
Yep. All right, here's some. You want to look at some gross first round draft picks here. Demarius Randall.
Ugh.
Oops. Dayton Jones. Nick Perry. How about this one? Derek Sherrod.
Oh, man.
Brian Bulaga, Clay Matthews, B.J. Raji. Yeah. Justin Harrell. That's the easy one. Ahmad Carroll.
Ugh.
Javon Walker, Bubba Franks. All right, now we're going way back.
All right. Yeah.
Jerry Tagg, first round quarterback from Nebraska in 1972.
All right.
Never heard of him.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, trade destinations for top candidates is what we're talking about here. So, man, who else was I going to fucking talk about? AJ Green is another one.
Yes.
AJ Green is coming off of an injury. He had an ankle injury in training camp and has been out the entire time. I think he's eyeing a Week 7 return, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And a lot of people, he has come out and said that he wants to play his career in Cincinnati. He's obviously been extremely successful as a wide receiver. He's had some injury trouble the last couple seasons, but given the Bengals just kind of shit in the bed this season so far, it would make sense if they, cut loose with their all-pro wide receiver in order to get some assets out of that. Especially with the contract year coming up, it would make sense if they traded him so they could get comp picks instead of just letting him walk in free agency. So a team that a lot of people have is, for similar reasons as the Patriots, the Oakland Raiders. They obviously brought in Antonio Brown, so this is pretty much a parallel situation. It's pretty much the exact same situation as New England. They obviously brought in Antonio Brown on a big-ass deal, wanted him to play there. And all of a sudden, everybody kind of thought the Raiders would be a little bit of a middling team this year, a little bit of a, maybe less than mediocre possibly, but they've been rolling on all cylinders. They beat the Bears last weekend in a stunner. Josh Jacobs ran all over the Bears defense. And their receiving core has been surprisingly okay, despite the fact that their number one is Tyrell Williams, who didn't play last Sunday due to an injury. So they had a receiving core of Hunter Renfrow and J.J. Nelson. Yeah, yikes. They've found a perennial talent at tight end in Darren Waller. He's been a G for them. And their defense has been, decent so far this year. Not the Raiders' defense of yesteryear where they were, just a sieve, let everything kind of go through. So, it's a surprising team that could be looking to add a wide receiver like AJ Green in order to bolster their chances of making the playoffs and end their drought here. So that's a team that could possibly be looking to invest in his services, but again, it's kind of dependent. I think we'll see how the Bengals fare against the Baltimore Ravens this coming weekend. See if they turn anything around. I'm guessing they won't, because I've got Joe Mixon on my team, so I'm just assuming that they'll be fucking terrible again because that's how that works. But we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Bengals offensive line is so fucking bad. It's ugh.
Yeah, I don't know anything about what they got going on there. And I'm okay with that. I'm going to leave it that way.
I don't know. It feels like Arizona Cardinals light. Like, it feels like they want to be doing...
They lost to the Cardinals, yeah.
Yeah, they want to be doing what they're doing, but now all their receivers are dead and gone, and their offensive line is terrible. Like, yeah, I mean, it really is like a worse version of Arizona. Like, yeah, anyway. I mean... There are other candidates on the trading block, but I don't know. I don't really want to get into it, I guess. Let's talk about fantasy football.
Fantasy, baby.
Fantasy, baby.
I got my first win this week.
Sam got his first fucking win off this ridiculous Browns game.
Yes, so thank you. Thank you to Odell Beckham for doing absolutely nothing. And I was able to hold on for the win. How do I look at my past results?
Go to schedule under team.
My team. Matchup. Settings.
No, team. The header.
Team. Yeah, I have my team.
No, just team. Not
that?
settings. So team.
Where is this?
So it's just so at the top of the screen or the top of the app, it's matchup, team, news, and league.
I have matchup, my team, league, and settings. I have league chat off to the side.
Oh my goodness, I don't know what you're looking at. Are you on the desktop?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know what the fuck is on the desktop.
Bro. Oh, I can go. Oh, here it is. I can go back to week 5. Okay, I won by 7. All right. Yeah, because I had a real heck of a week here. Got real lucky with Odell Beckham having 4 points on my opponent's team. Sammy Watkins not playing, getting a whopping 0 points, and also Philip Dorsett not playing. So, with 4 points across those 3 players, I won by 7.
Yeah, Sam went into that Browns game leading by 10 points, and he had Odell and somebody else playing, didn't he?
Yeah, who else? No, nobody else played.
Oh, it was just Odell.
Yeah, it was just Odell, but... yeah, Andrew here had Sean Watson on his bench, and as well as Kyler Murray, who had both over 25 points. Yeah.
Woof.
I had Jalen Samuels, who threw a pick as a running back.
Hell yeah.
Got me 2 points.
Now that's production, baby.
Yeah, everybody... The rest of this team was just was okay. Patrick Mahomes was okay.
Yeah, had his first day, actually.
Cohen was okay. Tyler Lockett was pretty good. Will Disley was okay. Mark Andrews is okay. Justin Tucker was great. He had 16. So, yeah, no, it was not good, but I'm in the win column. I'm just slowly acquiring as many Chiefs receivers as possible.
Yeah, that's a strategy.
The meme team.
The meme dream. Yeah. So that was fantasy with Sam. That was probably the most exciting thing that happened.
God, it was fucking bad, man. Was this the week where your team just went off?
Yeah, my team exploded.
Oh yeah, you dropped 300 points.
Yeah, I dropped 212 on Mila.
Jesus.
His poor soul.
You had a DFS lineup.
Yeah. Mila's team got riggedy wrecked. His team did. It was pretty funny because his team just shit the bed. So I didn't even need to have a good week. I just needed to have his team scored less than 100. They scored 99. So yeah, let me just revisit this matchup. So yeah, his team, he had Ronald Jones, who did 7 points, Mike Evans, who got 0, Robert Woods, who got 9, Darren Waller, who got 7, Geronimo Allison, who got 4, So, I mean,
Ugh.
yeah, right there is, I mean, not great. So, yeah, my team exploded. Christian McCaffrey had nearly 50 points. Will Fuller had 52.7 points, the highest number of points since, like, Jerry Rice. Julian Edelman,
Really?
yeah, in this all, so those two overshadowed the other extreme performances. Philadelphia Eagles scored me 37 points. And Julian Edelman scored me 25.
Oh my god.
So those were middling scores compared to everything else that happened. I mean, other people performed well. DJ Moore had 15. Joe Mixon had 11. Jameis Winston had 17. I could have had even more, though, if I would have played Josh Jacobs, who scored nearly 30 points on the Chicago Bears. Certainly not what anybody expected for somebody to run all over the Bears. So yeah, it was a record week for my team and a good morale boost. Because I was coming off of a loss to Cordell, I think, a close loss. And I've kind of been trying to make a lot of moves because a lot of my top dudes that I kind of want to have in my rotation, Tyreek Hill, AJ Green, they're both sitting out. So it's I've been playing, I mean, especially at wideout in my flex position. It's been a little bit of a strategy game here because for the first couple of weeks, Joe Mixon has just, I mean, not really been a very good productive running back because the Bengals are fucking bad. Josh Jacobs was okay. So I've kind of just been riding off the coattails of Christian McCaffrey, who's having an absolute ridiculous season so far, mostly because Cam Newton's out, so they're just giving they're literally giving Christian McCaffrey like 40 touches a game, which is a completely unsustainable method to win, but they're doing it, and it's getting me fantasy points, so I don't know. No real complaints. So yeah, I don't know. I've been making a lot of moves here and playing pretty aggressively in the league, but hopefully that's done, and hopefully I can not do that for a little while. There's a time when I was sending out many trade requests a week.
Yeah, man, you were fishing a lot. You're fishing pretty hard for some trade action, and we had some collusion in place, and I guess I changed my mind. I didn't really tell you, I guess, but
Yeah, you just kind of passively, I figured it out.
we worked it out, and then I just didn't do it. And look at me, I'm winning now. I'm good.
Yeah.
My team's great.
Back in the fold.
But, no, I'm looking at Milo's team, and his team is actually bad. I think it's worse than mine. Playing Dak at quarterback, Adrian Peterson, which is just hilarious. That Adrian Peterson is a starting running back.
He's in a tough bind because he lost Saquon Barkley.
Well, okay. He's also got Tevin Coleman,
Yeah.
but that's on his bench. But man, he snagged Terry McLaurin. I wanted to keep him from the Redskins, but now I'm actually glad I probably don't have him.
Yeah. Yeah,
But he's got Travis Kelce. I might try and trade for him if I really want to make the meme team happen.
What are you going to trade for Travis Kelce? Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
Man.
If it gets to the point where I'm ready to throw in the towel and just say, hey, we're just going to acquire all the Infinity Stones, that is the Chiefs' offense. Actually, shit, when's their bye? Maybe I should figure that out first and do it after that.
I think it's like week 12.
Oh, whatever. That's a future me problem. Maybe that week 12 we just take a knee. Sit that one out.
We'll just play everybody. Anyway, everybody scores 0. It's a free win against Sam.
Yep. Nope, it's fine.
Who do I play? Do I play you in week 12? Fuck. No. Who plays you? Mila does.
No. Well, I guess we'll see what the records look like then. I'm sitting pretty at 1-4 and right in prime position to make a run here. You're at 3-2. A lot of people at 3-2. Finch sitting at 4-1.
Yeah, man, Cordell has a fucking unfair roster. All of his draft picks hit.
Boy, does he. Russell Wilson, James Conner, Leonard Fournette, who's been pretty good this year. Michael Thomas, Keenan Allen, Greg Olson, Chris Godwin, Tyler Boyd. Yeah, that's a bit of man, and he's got and oh, by the way, he's got Kareem Hunt just kind of stashed on his bench.
I don't put any stock in that. I think the Browns offense is fucking bad.
Well, the production they're getting out of Nick Chubb is good.
That too. I mean, that's probably a bigger thing, is that he'd be playing second fiddle to Nick Chubb, no doubt.
But I mean, that's one of those things that could be a sneaky good thing if in the not crazy. If Nick Chubb gets hurt, which is not at all out of the question, could easily happen any week, then all of a sudden Kareem Hunt's value is good.
That's honestly something that I was thinking about a lot this week. I was like, damn, I thought about messaging you to ask if so I have a lot of people on my bench that have upside, and I don't really want other people to have these people, but I thought about messaging you because I'm like, oh man, like, it's starting to get to that season where people are starting to break down. Like, already Todd Gurley, obviously, it was inevitable that he was going to miss probably a game or two with those arthritic knees. But, I mean, there's already talk of people like Dalvin Cook. Obviously, we just talked about Christian McCaffrey having an absolutely unsustainable workload. I thought about messaging you to ask or just asking a trade for one of your like bench players so that I could just drop them and pick up a handcuff without the threat of somebody grabbing one of the upper wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2 guys on my bench. But I don't think we're quite there yet. I'm going to see how things shake out this week, see what happens. I mean, there's every single week there's a possibility that somebody gets hurt. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. It's starting to get to that point when it's, you got to start thinking about who's going to go down and which handcuffs you're going to try to get, because, I mean, all these guys are just for free right now, but Dalvin Cook goes down and all of a sudden Alex Madison, he's RB1 every single week.
Oh, gosh. Who?
Right, but I mean the Vikings. The Vikings.
What the hell is that?
I mean, he's a backup to Dalvin Cook. He's a nobody, but he's definitely a somebody, especially in that offense when they're absolutely establishing the run before they throw to anybody.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, we saw this last week with Wayne Gallman.
Yeah,
he was running back one. He was a strong play for a week, so he got hurt.
I mean, fucking Ron Hillman he played enough in PPR to get you points last night. He got fucking cut by the Giants. Yeah, volume is king, especially in this PPR league. So, I mean, it really doesn't mean anything that this guy's just a nobody. If he's getting 20 touches a game, I mean, that's who you want, especially if somebody loses their person that they drafted in the first or second round. All of a sudden, that's kind of what I'm thinking with these teams that seem unstoppable right now. I mean, all that needs to happen to Cordell is he loses, Michael Thomas or somebody else that's important, and he's stuck with James Conner, who doesn't seem to be getting anything done in Pittsburgh, Leonard Fournette, who's a volatile option at best.
Yeah, well, James Conner's fine, but he's going to be in a tough situation for a little bit here while they're playing a number 3 quarterback. You think it's going to be a lot of 8-man fronts.
A lot of stacked boxes there. Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of the thing right now, is starting just sort of brushing the edge of the wild handcuff grab here. So it's also why I'm trying to tone down my waiver wire activity so that I can move myself down the list here a little bit, just in case I need to be a little bit aggressive with grabbing somebody here or there, trying to play the free agent market more than the waiver wire game.
Yeah, man, I've been pretty active. This week was the first week I was really not into. Didn't make a ton of moves. Been very busy watching a lot of Mindhunters.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it for fantasy football. I'm kind of depressed this week because I'm playing Cheech, and Cheech is obviously very good at fantasy football.
Oh, and he dropped a casual 29 on you last night.
Yeah, I'm really fucking pissed about that because the Patriots are also producing an unsustainable amount of defensive production because they're just playing these terrible teams all in a row here at the beginning of the year, and I was unlucky enough, to be on the receiving end of a nearly 30-point defensive game. All while Julian Edelman produced for sure. Didn't have as big of a game as I would have hoped, but still produced. And Josh Gordon, who I recently acquired from pawning off Will Fuller onto Brian, was able to get Josh Gordon out of that.
Watch, Will Fuller's going to do it again this week.
I know, and it's against Kansas City. I knew I was running a risk, but I thought for sure. I mean, nobody was buying Will Fuller, man. I threw him out to every single team in our league and offered. I offered you a dumb deal, but I didn't offer everybody a dumb deal.
Yeah, what did you even offer me?
Just Will Fuller for Mark Andrews straight up.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, you offered. Well, sorry. We tried to put together a really shitty 3-team deal last week with Cordell.
That wasn't a very serious deal, but
well, I was looking at it like, okay, I get Matt Breida, good. I want to run him back, but I have to give up 2 players. And wait, you ended up getting Mark Andrews for nothing.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute.
I think there's a way to make that work, but I don't know. It's kind of tough. In our league, it's a little tough because I think we have a lot of so I don't know if you saw earlier in the week, Andrew Stroman put out the feeler of anybody want Kyler Murray.
No.
I'm interested in Kyler Murray.
I'm pretty set at quarterback.
Yeah. Well, you're fine. But I'm playing the streaming game with quarterback, and so I was like, oh, well, Kyler Murray's a little bit better than streaming. He's gonna throw the ball a lot at least, so there's that. So I was like, yeah, I'm interested. And immediately he shot back, well, I'm not interested in any of your players, and then followed that up with a trade request, Kyler Murray for Josh Jacobs. And so
he's playing chess.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, I see. You don't understand how any of this, you don't understand the currency of this market.
I certainly don't.
Well, I mean, it doesn't take a big brain genius to know that trading a quarterback for an RB1 is not a fair deal, given the fact that all it takes is one stop on the waiver wire marketplace of our league to see that Carlos Hyde is the top selection there, to know that the waiver wire doesn't have a whole lot to offer you on a week-to-week basis.
On the other hand, at a quarterback, you could get Baker, you could get Cousins and one of them, you could get Jimmy G, you could get Matt Stafford. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is just alternating between streamers and Jameis Winston because nobody wants him either. Yeah, and I mean, they won't give you great performances, like they won't give you a Pat Mahomes outing for sure. But, I mean, they'll get you, 20 points.
Stafford could be fine.
Yeah.
That'd be a great stream play, I think.
Yeah. So given that, I mean, it's, the deal, it's not quite there looking at it that way. And
And especially in PPR, it's even worse because then all of a sudden these receivers, people like Christian Kirk, who he really didn't do anything at all. He just caught passes, but he just caught in a super high volume of passes. Had really no yards after the catch, but he was consistently generating double-digit performances just because of the volume. So because of that, even wide receivers are more valuable than quarterbacks because, I mean, they're just going to get you more points in this league. So,
oh boy, Christian Kirk. I'm just looking at his game log here. Has no touchdowns this year yet, but put up 10, 17, 15 points each respectively in weeks 1 through 3. 8 against Seattle and then nothing last week against Cincinnati.
he was out.
So, well, that's the floor. Not playing is the floor.
That's right. He put up he had that single-digit performance, but I think he went out in like the second quarter or something.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense then.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. I guess explaining that, so given that, I should say, making trade requests in the league is, I mean, I put a lot of bullshit out there and just try to find somebody that'll entertain my thoughts for at least a second, because I know that a lot of people will just look at it and, I mean, like you said, just like, I don't know what to make of this, really. Well,
hey, let's make a deal here. We've tried to do this before and nothing's really happened. What can I do for you?
Well, I mean, my big need was tight end, but I think I fixed that due to some luck here with Hunter Henry coming back.
Yeah, that's one of my former guys here. So, what do I want of yours? I really want Tyreek Hill to make the meme team happen. We'll revisit that later. Josh Jacobs on bye.
Mm-hmm.
Is he for sale?
Not after last week. He was on sale for a while. I mean, I think if anybody, the running back that I'd be selling is probably Mixon now.
You're streaming the Redskins defense this week?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Redskins are going to get their ass kicked.
Maybe, but maybe not.
Dolphins are going to score 50 on them.
Maybe not.
Probably not.
Because the Dolphins are bad?
Redskins are worse.
I don't. I actually read a lot about this before I picked these guys up. The Dolphins are experiencing an offensive playmaking ability that is demonstrating one of the worst offenses in nearly 50 years of football. Their output is so low right now that you could stream any defense against them and get at least some points.
I don't know. What's the spread? What does Vegas say about this game?
I mean,
we don't gamble, but
I think that it's going to be a shit storm and it's just going to be really bad.
I think the I don't know, my office pool that I'm not in case anybody important is listening, I picked the Dolphins, so I'm sticking with that prediction. God, they should make this a fucking national game. They should flex this game to like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, it's
Dolphins are 3.5 point dogs.
Ooh.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Their offense is so bad, dude. Like, it's...
Oh, here's the headline on about the game. Redskins-Dolphins preview. The week's worst matchup in the NFL is so bad it could be good. I'm intrigued. Well, whatever. I guess we'll see. I don't want any of your players.
Okay.
I already, well,
great.
We kind of made it. Well, look at that. We can kind of, in a roundabout way, we made a trade. I got Christian Kirk, and you ended up with Hunter Henry.
That's right. In a way, we traded players.
Good doing business with you. Speaking of business, so there's a new fantasy fantasy medium here that just went live this week. FanVest Wagering Exchange. Now you may be thinking, wagering. That sounds like the G word, gambling, which we don't do. And it's not. It's some goofy thing. I don't really know how this works yet, but you basically are able to use this Monopoly money that you're given each week, 1,000 fan bucks, and you buy stock in teams, and you try to build a robust portfolio, and then the prices of the teams, much like stocks do, while the market's open for trading, so to speak, on Sunday, their prices will fluctuate, and your portfolio value will go up or it will go down. So, I don't really know how this works, but we're gonna make some investments here, and we will see how that turns out. So, obviously, the bad teams like the Redskins, like the Dolphins, are lower or have lower prices, so you can buy low. And good teams like the Chiefs and the Patriots have high prices, so you can sell high if I had, which I don't have anything right now. Actually, it's not true. I have one share of the Packers at $25.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know if I just buy more Packer stock. Or,
all in on the pack.
Yeah, I mean, like, or do I... What's an under-the-radar team? Like Denver. Denver might be a team to kind of buy low on.
No.
What about Detroit?
Detroit, yes.
Detroit and Denver are both at $21 a share, which is on the lower end of the spectrum.
I think Detroit may lose to... I don't know, man. Detroit played really well against Kansas City.
I'm okay. I'm all in on Detroit. Even though I want the Packers. Well, maybe we just go 50. We just hedge. We just get half Packers, half Lions.
Okay.
I don't know.
Same
So, yeah, we'll
same
20
fucking division.
We'll get 20 shares of the Lions for $420.
Okay.
Okay. So, I can share this on social media. All right, next. Who else should I get? I have $580 left. No funny money.
How many teams does that get you?
I don't know, as many as I want. They're all like $20 a share, so I could probably get one of everything if I wanted.
The Patriots.
Well, what about a little Houston?
Sure. Are they low?
They're $25.50. They're middle of the road, about the same as the Packers.
Yeah, go with them.
But I think their stock could jump if they beat the Chiefs.
I'd say so. Do you think they're going to beat the Chiefs?
Maybe. It wouldn't be the craziest thing.
I don't know. I think the Chiefs are going to run all over them.
I don't know. Patrick Mahomes has a bum ankle.
Tyreek.
Oh, is he back?
Oh, yeah, baby. He's back.
Oh, okay. I'm going to get a little bit of, let me get some Niners stock, too.
Oh, that's a good one.
I got $80 left. What can I get for $80?
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers? Oh, I don't hate that. Why is the Redskins stock $22.75 and the Titans $19.50? That seems backwards.
That does seem backwards. I don't know, man.
Pittsburgh being $17.50. I believe that. I'll buy that.
No, why are you gonna buy that?
I'm not gonna buy it. I understand why the price is what it is.
All right. Yeah.
Philly. Who do the Eagles play?
The Vikings.
Oh yeah, give me that.
I don't know, dude.
It's Kirk Cousins playing a team above 500.
Their secondary is really bad.
And Kirk Cousins doesn't throw the ball.
He's gonna have to throw the ball because their defensive line is good.
Okay, well I'll just get 3 stocks in them.
All right.
I got $18.50 left, so I can get one more something here. $18.50. I can get the Bengals. I don't want to get.
Nope.
I can get
Raiders.
Steelers.
No.
Where's Raiders? Oakland. Oakland is in here somewhere. Maybe. What the hell? Oakland is not in here. Are they on bye this week?
Yeah, they're on bye.
Okay, can't get them.
Oh, you can't buy them when they're on bye?
Yeah, it's a weekly thing.
Oh.
So it's going to reset every week. So I have a choice between the Steelers, a stock of Steelers, a stock of Bengals.
What about Panthers?
too expensive. I don't have.
Wait, what do you have a chance? What are you between?
I have only $18.50 left in my budget, so it's either the Steelers
The Steelers
or the Bengals. Steelers or the Bengals.
Oh fuck! Who do the Steelers
Who
play?
do they play?
The Bengals play the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't know who the Steelers play.
Steelers, if you look at NFL.com/schedule, we have Steelers in the AFC North Division who play the Chargers,
Oh,
who aren't great.
I don't know, man. They're still pretty fucking good.
Yeah, both these teams are bad. I'll take Pittsburgh.
No, take the Bengals.
All right, Bengals.
All right.
Perfect. One quantity of that. Confirm order.
And just like that, we've made a winner here.
Yeah, so apparently this thing works where if you end up winning somehow against other users, you win prizes. I don't know.
Prizes.
So I don't know. I don't know how this works at all, but I guess I'm gonna find out here next week. So we'll have a more detailed report after this whole deal works out.
Nice. Well, we're looking forward to it. Cool. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Hell yeah, baby. I think that'll wrap up another week of Definitely the Experts. Find us on our social media channels, all of them. Like, subscribe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll try to get some more content out there, some more content besides this while we're out in the field while we can. But until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Reach for the speed, reach for the whistle, go where the rail may run. Reach for the words, reach for the story, follow the rainbow sun.